Hello students, welcome to All Force e-learning channel. This is K. Nageshwar Rao, your physics faculty. Today we are about to deal with session number 94. In the previous session we have discussed about Kirchhoff laws related few problems and circuit related few problems like effective resistance, cells related few problems we have dealt with. So let us make use of Kirchhoff laws concept to understand one more very important topic of this current electricity chapter. It's a Wheatstone's bridge principle. This is very important. I'll explain the principle to you. Let me first draw the bridge circuit diagram. This is how the Wheatstone's bridge appears like. We'll have four resistors, something like this. Okay, let it be P, let it be Q, R and S. Let us say battery is connected with a key arrangement. Okay, let battery is supplying a potential of V. Let a current I is, overall a current I is existing in the circuit, and here let us say a galvanometer is connected. Okay, using junction rule we can distribute the current in the circuit. Let us say a current I1 is entering into this branch. It means here how much current will enter? I minus I1. After this I1 current reaches this junction, let us say along this direction through the galvanometer, let us say a current Ig is flowing. If Ig current is flowing into this branch, how much current will flow into this branch? I1 minus Ig. I1 minus Ig. So this I minus I1, Ig, they will meet at this junction and they will flow into this branch. I minus I1 plus Ig. And I minus I1 plus Ig, I1 minus Ig, they combine here, and finally what we'll get? We'll get I. You can check that. Minus Ig plus Ig gets cancelled, plus I1 minus I1 gets cancelled, and we are left with I. So the I enters here. Let us say this is key, up key, K1, and here also you can have one key arrangement. Okay, that's how we set up the situation when we do the experiment related to Wheatstone's bridge. So let us say this is K2. Okay, like that you can have two keys. Now, according to this Wheatstone's bridge principle, it says that this is what the Wheatstone's bridge is, and under the bridge balance condition in the sense, if there is no any current passing through this branch, the branch containing galvanometer, if there is no any current passing through that branch, then the bridge is said to be balanced. I'll tell you what does it mean. What is the condition according to this Wheatstone's bridge principle? It states that if you are having such a kind of arrangement, and if current passing through the galvanometer branch, if it is 0, then the bridge is said to be balanced. If the bridge is said to be balanced, immediately it is followed by P by Q is equal to R by S, this condition. So when the bridge is balanced, this is what relation you can have among these four resistances connected in the circuit. So let me tell you about this Wheatstone's bridge principle again. According to this Wheatstone's bridge principle, if this is the an arrangement that you are dealing with, if there is no any current passing through this branch containing galvanometer, then the bridge is said to be balanced. And if the bridge is balanced, this is what relation you will be having among these four resistances. So if at all, if you try to solve a problem where you see that there is no any current passing through this branch, then immediately what you can conclude that P by Q is equal to R by S. If at all, when you are dealing with numerical problems, if you have seen this condition in such a kind of circuit, in such a kind of arrangement, what condition you are supposed to see? If you have seen this kind of condition, then also you can say that there is no current in this branch. For example, if you are having four resistance arrangement, something like this, and here one more resistor is there, and let us say this is P, this is Q, this is R, this is S. If you have come to know that P by Q is equal to R by S. Like this is 1 ohm, this is 2 ohm, this is also 1 ohm, this is also 2 ohm. So 1 by 2 is equal to 1 by 2. If that is the situation, there won't be any current through this branch. If there is no any current through this branch, then you can remove this branch from the circuit. So this Wheatstone's bridge principle, it helps us to simplify the circuit related problems. Okay. So if at all in any circuit, if you see this relation, if this relation is possible, then immediately this resistor can be removed, and this kind of relation you should see only in these kind of arrangements. 4 resistances like this, and there should be some other resistance connecting this point and this point. Let us go into the details a little bit more. We will try to prove P by Q is equal to R by S, and before that let me tell you one more important point. We have already seen series combination of resistors. For example, if you have taken 2 resistors in series combination, let us say potential V is applied using a battery. Let us say this resistance is R1, this is R2. Okay, or I'll take these 2 resistors as R and R, both are same. If both are same, what will be the potential drop across these 2 resistors, V by 2 and V by 2? When you combine these 2 things, you will get back this total potential, isn't it? So this is what the potential difference across this resistance. I'll take this point as A, this point as B, and this point as C. Okay. Now, what this V by 2 is? This V by 2 is VA minus VB, which is equal to V by 2. Okay. Let us say now this resistance, it was doubled, 2R. This time you have taken 2R. So when you have taken 2R, definitely this is not going to be V by 2 and this is not going to be V by 2. Now the potential differences will be different. How much will be the potential difference? Let us say a current I is passing like this. So V1, how do you write V1? V1 can be written as V into R1 by R1 plus R2, and V into R1 is what here? 2R by R1 plus R2, 2R plus R, 3R. So RR gets cancelled, you will have 2V by 3. So this time VA minus VB is how much? 2V by 3. VA minus VB is how much? 2V by 3. See, try to understand this point very carefully. This V by 2, earlier it is the potential difference between this point and this point. Now 2V by 3 is potential difference between this point and this point. So what has happened when you have changed the resistance? Potential difference has changed. When the potential difference has changed, what does it mean? Potential at these 2 points has changed. Potential at point A, potential at point B are changed, isn't it? So I want you to understand this fact. When you change the resistance, you can change potential at a given point. Remember this point. So when you change the resistance, you can change the potential. Change in potential is possible. Okay, so when you change the resistance, potential across the points of the resistance can be changed, isn't it? So this is what I am going to make use here to deal with this Wheatstone's bridge principle. All that you need to remember is when the resistor is changed, when the resistance of the resistor is changed, the potential across the resistor will change and the potential at these 2 points will change. Earlier it might be some one value, now it will be different value, isn't it? So if you change the resistance, potential at this point can be changed, isn't it? That's what you just remember for a while. Let us deal with this one. Let us deal with this one. Now let us try to understand the loops A, B, C, D. Okay. Now I'll consider one loop. Consider A, B, D, A loop. A, B, D, A loop. Using loop law or Kirchhoff's second law. Let us say the circuit is traced in this direction, A to B, B to D, D to A, like this. So when you are traveling along the direction of the current, how do you take the sign? Minus sign will be taken. Minus, what is the potential across this resistor? I1P, and here you are traveling along the direction of the current, minus Ig, current Ig, resistance of the galvanometer I will take it as capital G. I'll take it as capital G. And here you are tracing the circuit opposite to the direction of current. So you will have plus. How much is the current? I minus I1 into how much is the resistance? R. It's equal to 0. According to Kirchhoff's second rule, algebraic sum of potentials across all circuitry elements is equal to 0. Okay. So now I am going to consider the same loop law again for this one, this loop. Consider BCDB loop. Again, using loop law, what you can write? You are tracing the loop in this direction, isn't it? In clockwise direction. So here you are traveling along the direction of the current in this branch, isn't it? So you will have minus sign. Minus current is how much? I1 minus Ig into how much is the resistance? Q. And here you are traveling, this is the direction of the current, and you are traveling opposite to the direction of the current. So you will have plus I minus I1 plus Ig into how much is the resistance? S. And here in case of galvanometer also you are traveling in a direction opposite to the direction of the current. Again you will have plus how much is the current passing through the galvanometer? Ig, and G is the galvanometer resistance, which is equal to 0. See, galvanometer is something that detects the presence of current. It doesn't show the current, it doesn't measure the current. It shows the presence of the current. It doesn't measure the current. Okay. If there is a current, there will be deflection. Galvanometer needle it points 0. On either side of the 0 symmetrically there will be a scale. So if current is flowing in one direction, it deflects in one direction. More the deflection, more the current. But you cannot measure the current. But you can convert this galvanometer into what? Ammeter to measure the current. That's a different story. But remember, galvanometer is something that is used in circuits to detect the presence of the current. If always galvanometer points 0, it means there is no current. There is no current in the branch in which it is present. Okay, if galvanometer is showing 0 here in this branch, it means there is no current. Ig is 0. If there is a current in this branch, then G shows some deflection either towards left or towards right, depending upon the direction of the current. Okay, so here we have two equations. This is one equation, this is another equation. Okay, let bridge is balanced. According to the principle, when do you say that the bridge is balanced? That is, Ig is 0 or current passing through the galvanometer is 0. Then only you say that bridge is balanced. Now tell me, how is it possible? How is it possible? When there won't be any current through this branch. See, whatever current is flowing through this galvanometer branch, that is driven by potential difference between these 2 points B and D. There won't be any current in this branch if there is no any potential difference between B and D. This is a very important point. We all know that for maintaining current, potential difference is required. When there won't be any current, if there is no any potential difference. So here, through this branch, there won't be any current if potential at point B and potential at point D both are same. If they are same, there is no difference. Potential difference is 0. If potential difference is 0, will you expect any current passing through that branch? No. Now the question is how to make this situation possible. You can do that. See, usually P and Q are fixed, and this R is something, S is also fixed. When we do the experiment, we play with one resistor, but of course you can play with the rest of the resistors also, but in an organized way you can keep on changing the resistances values of all these resistors. But if at all, if I don't touch this P, if I keep on changing this R, just now I told you some time before, if resistance value changes, potential across the resistor will change. Potential, if you wanted to change potential at this point D, this D is connected to this R, isn't it? So if I change the value of R, potential of D will change or not? Yes. That is the reason why, usually when we deal with Wheatstone's bridge principle, we arrange a variable resistor here and I keep on changing the resistance value. At a particular resistance value, the potential of D will be such that it will be exactly equal to potential of B. Let me repeat this again. If you wanted to balance the bridge, what you have to do? You have to make sure that potential at point B, potential at point D both are same. If both are same, there won't be any potential difference. If there is no any potential difference, there is no current through that branch, isn't it? There won't be any current between point B and point D, isn't it? And you can make it possible by changing the potential of D. Just fix the potential of B, whatever it is there. Let us say some 2 volts potential is there at point B. Here some 5 volts is there. Okay, so by changing this R, can't you reduce this? Yes, we can reduce. You can reduce such that at some, for a particular value of R, definitely it too will become 2 or not. Now here 2 volts of potential is there, here also 2 volts of potential is there. So what is the difference between the potentials of these 2 points? 0. So if there is no any potential difference, there won't be any current. The IC value will be 0. Then the bridge is said to be balanced. So that's how you can balance the bridge. Okay, so I'll assume that the bridge is balanced. If bridge is balanced, IC is 0. Therefore, these 2 equations will change. IC I will replace with 0 here. Here also I will replace with 0. Then what you will have? I1P minus I1P plus I minus I1 into R equal to 0. And here minus I1, this IC is 0 into Q, plus here what you will have? I minus I1 into S. IC is 0, here IC is 0, isn't it? That's how those 2 equations gets modified under this condition. Now I will shuffle the equation. What I can write here, I1P is equal to I minus I1 into R. Similarly, this equation can be written as I1Q is equal to I minus I1 into S. Now divide these 2 equations. What you will get? I1 gets cancelled. You will have P by Q, and here I minus I1 by I minus I1 both gets cancelled, and you will have R by S. So when the bridge is balanced, finally what the conclusion at which you have ended up? You have ended up at this conclusion: P by Q is equal to R by S. P by Q is equal to R by S. Or you can express this in similar different ways: PS is equal to RQ, something like that. Okay, so whatever Wheatstone's bridge principle was given in the statement, the same statement was derived here. Okay, under the bridge balance condition, there won't be any current passing through this branch, the branch containing galvanometer. How I will come to know galvanometer? Just now I told you, if galvanometer shows a 0 deflection, it means there is no current passing through that branch. The branch in which galvanometer is kept, through that branch there is no any current if it is pointing 0. So when you change this R, potential D changes. I keep on changing, and I will be looking at the galvanometer. Galvanometer deflection, if it is still showing, I will keep on changing this R such that what I'm trying to do when I'm changing this R value, I'm trying to change the potential at point D. If at all, if potential at point D and potential at point B both are same, then galvanometer shows 0 deflection because there won't be any current. Then the bridge is said to be balanced. If there is no any current through this branch, there is no use of this branch. You can remove that and you can simplify this. For example, for this circuit, if I ask you, tell me which resistors are in series combination and which resistors are in parallel combination. Can you tell? Of course, if any circuit related problems are there, we can handle them with Kirchhoff's second rule, first law. Those things can be applied. We can handle the question. But if I ask you about effective resistance, there are different ways. But whatever way we know, what if at all if we have managed somehow to identify which set of resistors are in series combination, which set of resistors are in parallel combination, can't we find effective resistance? We can find. But in this particular circuit diagram, this one is interrupting. For example, if bridge is balanced, there is no any current. If there is no any current, no need to consider this branch. You just remove this one and imagine then P and Q will be in series. R and S will be in series. So PQ, this entire branch will be parallel to RS, and you can find out effective resistance very easily. So that's how Wheatstone's bridge principle knowledge helps us to resolve, to simplify circuit related problems, a few problems. Okay, so all that you should know is when the bridge is balanced. Bridge is balanced in the sense ratio between P and Q, if it is equal to ratio between R and S, then there won't be any current passing through this one. Or if there is no any current passing through this one, P by Q is equal to R by S, vice versa. Okay, so let us verify that. I will show you one small simulation. In that simulation, we will be able to verify whether it is true or not. Okay. To understand Wheatstone's bridge principle by doing small simulation work here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to construct one Wheatstone's bridge here. We know how to construct Wheatstone bridge. We need 4 resistors and 1 galvanometer. But here galvanometer is not available. I will use ammeter. Okay, so let me start the construction. I have taken 1 resistor. I'll change the orientation, something like this. I'll use one connecting wire like this, right? I'll take one more connecting wire. So this is our P. Whatever resistance I have taken here, that is our P, whatever P we have used. I'll take one more wire. I'll take one more resistance. This is our Q. This is Q, okay? And I'll take one more wire. Okay, so it's not symmetrical. Let me change the orientation slightly. Okay, I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it like that, and I'll take one more wire. So let us connect here. One more resistor. So this is our R. I'll take one more wire. Okay, fine. I'll take one more wire and I'll connect it here. Fine. This is our S. Okay. I'll take one more wire. So let us join here. So this is P, this is Q, this is R, and this is S. Okay, let me connect a wire between these two. Okay, I'll take a resistor here. Okay, and to this resistor I will connect an ammeter, or I'll take directly this one. I'll change the orientation slightly, and I'll use one small wire to join right. So one battery, we have to connect one battery. So let us connect a battery here. I'll take one more wire. Let me extend this up to here. Let me take a battery. Good. And I'll take one more small wire, and I'll extend this wire up to here. So this one is connected here. Fine. Right. So the circuit is open. So it's better if we have one key, isn't it? So that we can have control over the circuit, isn't it? Yes. Now let us set the value of P. It's 10 ohms. Q, it's 10 ohms. R, I will take it as 20. I'll change it to 20. 20, okay. S also I will take it as 20. 20, right. So P is 10, Q is 10, 10 by 10, 1. R is 20. Here it is 20. So R by S is also 1 by 1 only. So it's like P by Q is equal to R by S. So according to Wheatstone's bridge principle, there should not be any current through this branch, isn't it? The branch in which ammeter is present. If there is no any current through that branch, ammeter should show us a 0 value of current. Let me close the switch and verify that. Switch is closed, and you see that there is no any current passing through the diagonal branch, the branch in which ammeter is present, because the bridge is balanced. Here you have taken 10, here you have taken 10, 10 by 10, 1, and here you have taken 20, here also you have taken 20. So P by Q is equal to R by S, so that there is no any current. Let us check. I'll change this resistance value, P value. I'll make it something like C. When I have changed the value of no, I'll make it 15. I'll make it 15. So now the value of P is 15, Q is 10. So P by Q is 1.5. Whereas R by S is how much? 1, 20 by 20. So now the bridge is not balanced. Since the bridge is not balanced, you see here in the diagonal branch where the ammeter is present, some current is passing. And how much is the current shown by the ammeter? 0.03 amperes. So it means that the bridge is not balanced.
Okay. Yes. So whatever Wheatstone's principle we have discussed, that has been verified, and we can check it like this. Okay. Thank you, students. Let us get back to the class.
So you have seen in the simulation, and we have verified that yes, whatever Wheatstone's principle statement is there, it's true. We have verified that. Let us try to solve one problem, and let us try to explore a few other details. For example, if you are having a circuit something like this, let us say here one more resistor is present. Let us say it is of 5 ohms. Here 1 ohm, here it is 2 ohm. Let us say here you have 2 ohm resistor and here 4 ohm resistor. This is the circuit. Okay. If I ask you to find out effective resistance between point A and point B, now you will be in trouble. You are not given with any other details, and if you can manage to find out which set of resistors are in series and which set of resistors are in parallel combination, you can find out. It's quite easy. If it is series combination, effective resistance will be R1 plus R2 plus R3 and so on. If it is parallel combination, 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2, 1 by R is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3 and so on, isn't it? But here it's a bit difficult to identify. But look at this picture. Let us say this is our P, whatever Wheatstone's bridge principle related the resistance we have talked about, that P is this one, and this is, let us say Q, let us say this is R, let us say this is S. Let us verify what is P by Q. P by Q is equal to 1 by 2. What is R by S? 2 by 4, which is equal to 1 by 2. So P by Q and R by S both are equal or not? So P by Q is equal to R by S. It means the bridge is balanced. If the bridge is balanced, there won't be any current passing through this one, isn't it, through this 5 ohm resistance. It means you can ignore that. There is no any current, okay, you can ignore that, okay, because it's not taking part in the circuit related task, isn't it? So you can ignore that. Once it is ignored, if it is removed, how you can redraw the circuit? You can redraw something like this. This is point B, this is A, 1 ohm, 2 ohm, and this is 2 ohm, this is 4 ohm. Now this the central one, 5 ohms resistor is removed. So now you could see very clearly 1 ohm and 2 ohm resistances are in series combination, 2 ohm and 4 ohm resistances are in series combination. So what is the effective resistance here? 1 plus 2, 3 ohm, and 2 plus 4, 6. So here the bottom branch entire resistance is replaced with one single resistor, 6 ohms. The upper branch entire resistance is replaced with one single resistor, 3. 2 plus 4, 6, 1 plus 2, 3. Now these two are in parallel combination, isn't it? So let us find out effective resistance. In case of parallel combination, R effective is written as R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. So 3 into 6 by 3 plus 6, 18 by 9, 2 ohms. Okay. So what is the effective resistance between point A and B? 2 ohms. So that's how you can handle the basic problems connected with the Wheatstone's bridge principle. And there are various forms of Wheatstone's bridge principle. You should know this fact as well. For example, I'll start with this the general picture of Wheatstone's bridge principle. This is how you see the P, Q, R, S. Let us take it as G. Okay. So this is what a Wheatstone's bridge diagram is. Okay. So the same diagram can be drawn like this also. P, Q, G, and this is R, this is S. That's how you can draw. This is also Wheatstone's bridge only. Okay. So there is a reason for giving you this information. Sometimes when you see this kind of circuit in the question, you think as if it is something else. Wheatstone's bridge, in the sense, the moment when we start discussion related to Wheatstone's bridge principle, this is the circuit we will be using. This is the network that we will be using. This is how it appears. Okay. So, but the same thing can be drawn in different ways. So this is one way. The other way is this one. This is also Wheatstone's bridge only. Here this is G, this is P, this is Q, this is R, and this is S. That's how it can be drawn. In one more form also it can be drawn, something like this. Point A, point B. This is G, this one is P, Q, and this is R, this is S. This is also Wheatstone's bridge only. This is also Wheatstone's bridge only. This is also Wheatstone's bridge only. So these are different forms of Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, so this is where I'll close the session. In the next session, we will try to deal what few other details connected with the Wheatstone's bridge. It's not like always whatever this kind of form you see in the examination, it will be balanced. Sometimes you do face unbalanced situations like P by Q may not be equal to R by S. If that is a situation, if you are facing, how to handle the situation, how to proceed with whatever he is asking for in the question. We will see that in the next session. Thank you, students.